Hi, this is Standard 6C, my reflection of the course overall. We started the course with completing the NIH Protecting Human Research Participant Study. This was kind of interesting for me. It seemed really common sense. You don't do things to hurt people. You don't entice people to do things for money. You keep everything up and honest. A lot of this was common sense, but I understand when people are under pressure to get research done, they may make poor choices. But most of this certification was common sense. A lot of this class for me, as I go over and reflect back, this was a challenging course for me. I tend to bite off more than I can chew, and I think it's too big. I want to save the world, and I think that reflected a lot in the challenges that I had early in the class with really narrowing down my topics. And there was a bit of frustration on my part not finding a whole lot of literature on this as I was going through looking up information at the AUM library. It was challenging because I wasn't finding all of this information that I wanted to be out there to prove myself right away. And so as I went through and researched, it was a little more challenging for me because not everything was where I wanted it to be. And as I went through the research proposal process, we spent a lot of time in changing the wording around on things, trying to really narrow down the research process. So many different variables to consider. It seemed a very large, very big process, especially since as I said before, there's a lot of research on one-to-one technology. There's research and information on bring your own device policies. There's research on depth of knowledge, but not a lot of research combining all of these things together. And I really want to have that impact on what happens when we bring depth of knowledge together with one-to-one technology. What happens when we bring depth of knowledge together with bring your own device policies? Are we seeing these things as equal? Are kids being able to do these same things that they can on Chromebooks they're doing on cell phones? Are we really using technology effectively in the classroom? And I had all of these big questions in my head, and this class really helped me focus down to the idea of looking specifically at how one-to-one technology and bring your own device policies are being used in the classroom and how that's impacting student achievement with this idea of depth of knowledge. And so that's really what this class was about for me, was just learning how to focus my thoughts and getting them focused on this one idea and looking at the different variables and how many different things come into play to whether it's student comfort level with technology or teacher comfort with technology, access to technology, different websites, what's blocked at school, what's not, what access do kids have at home, what access do they have at school. All of these things come into play in this, and there's so many different variables that it feels like the research process could be very daunting. And that's where I felt with this class, it was a really big class, and it required a lot of focused thinking rather than broad thinking. And I think that was a really great aspect of this class that helped me focus on specific details rather than looking at the big picture.